Hello, Monsters Abound here, back with a community update for Blood Bowl 3 because I'm that invested in this game now and I really want to like it. They're just making it very hard. So this community update, TLDR, is tone deaf. Basically goes, it wasn't our fault and deal with it. Now, this community post did come out on Friday at 10:03 PM, which I believe Cyanide are a French studio, so that would have been about 11 o'clock. Is that how time works? I can't remember. Anyway, they're about an hour either ahead or behind, I can't remember which way. And so, obviously the development team, and they might have people doing, you know, community moderation and stuff, but for the most part, the development team as a whole won't be working over the weekend. At least I would fucking hope not. Even in this case, I don't want to see people slaving away, because it's not the development team's fault this game is in this state. It's a management issue, right? Don't hate on the developers and the artists and the UI designers. It's not their fault. It's the management. The management put this game out way too soon. Anyway, so they won't be seeing this until... They won't be able to respond to the response to this community post until Monday. With that said, at the moment, this is what we've got. So, dear coaches, Blood Bowl 3 has now been out for everyone for 24 hours. Let me start by thanking you for your support and for playing our game. We have had an overwhelming amount of players since early unlock, and despite the issues, that is something we are very grateful for. The game's release has had its problems, and seems important for us to address some of the main topics of discussion. Monetization, the Brutal Edition, the game state, the server issues, the faction leaks, the Blood Bowl team. We'd like to start with where the game is at launch and what players can expect from us as we move forward. We know there are some features that missing that the players expect, being able to reconnect in a game, for example, and we're working hard to get those features added. Okay, so, little aside here, Blood Bowl 3 does have a roadmap, which, to be fair, better than what Total War has. However, the being able to reconnect to a game is currently in the roadmap. It's based for Season 2. Now, a season lasts 3 months, so according to the roadmap, that reconnection functionality ain't happening till August. That ain't great, I'll be honest. We'll also get a pause system and a replay stuff that really should be in the game already. But at least they have a roadmap. The functionality of the game is our main priority, and rest assured we will do our best to address any bugs or broken elements as soon as we can. We hope that Blood Bowl 3 will be a game that is ever evolving. Even the end of the roadmap is not the end of the road. We will continuously add content and events. We have big plans and ambitions for Blood Bowl 3, and these initial stumbling blocks don't change that. Yes, you want a live service, don't you? That's what you want. You want to turn Blood Bowl 3 into a live service. And you know what? That's not necessarily inherently bad, but the way you've done it certainly is. Next, we'd like to talk about monetization. Here we go. And appreciate this is a sensitive topic amongst the community. This is something we try to communicate ahead of launch. Strongly disagree. But we intend to implement features allowing players to be rewarded either with cosmetic items or warpstone through play, as well as purchase. Yes, you intend that. It ain't in the game at the moment though, is it? And according to the roadmap, it ain't happening till Season 1 by the looks of it. That's happening the end of May. Interesting. We know that we will probably not be able to convince all of you, correct, but we truly believe that our system is fair, rewarding, and optional, and that's understandable. Now, a few people have commented on this sentence and said something like, what do you mean it's understandable? Now, you have to remember that Cyanide is a French company. They may not have a native English speaker. So, which probably they should get one, to be honest, if they're going to write community posts like this. I mean, they should probably get quite a few native speakers of various different regions they sell this game to. But particularly English, because it's quite a large market. With that said, this sentence basically goes, we think it's fine. Well, I'm sorry to say that most people disagree with you, especially according to the Steam reviews. I think basically there's two camps of Blood Bowl 3 players. Those that really hate the monetization system, and those that don't give a shit about customization. And I'm going to be honest, the second group is a relatively small minority. And that's fine. If you don't care about customization, that's not a problem. But I'm going to be honest, if the only thing you want to do is play Blood Bowl, just play Blood Bowl 2. because all the teams are in it, you can get it for like £1 more than you can get Blood Bowl 3, and you've pretty much got everything in there already. And if the only thing you care about is playing Blood Bowl, and admittedly Blood Bowl 3 does have some of the new rule set, but is that important to you? If so, just play Blood Bowl 2. There you go. Because most of the rewards you're going to get for playing Blood Bowl 3 are cosmetic. So what difference would it make, to be honest, to just playing Blood Bowl 2 forever? Because if you're hoping Blood Bowl 3 is going to find a whole new audience and you're going to have a load of different people to play against, at this point, it doesn't look like that's likely unless they make a real gear shift in what they're doing. I'm not entirely sure this game will survive until Season 1 at this rate. Which is a shame, because I'd really like it to. But they've really fucked the release, haven't they? And if they're not going to release anything else until the end of May, 3 months away, that's just insane. Anyway, let's be concrete. Here are the details of what you'll be able to unlock for free through upcoming features. With the levelling system, while reaching the maximum level, you will get 1,000 Warpstone, 8 common items, same quality as the ones in the shop, 24 uncommon items, and 8 epic items. This includes not only player parts, but pitches, grandstands, coaches, cheerleaders, balls, and dugouts, among other things. Okay, now, I believe that the levelling system, which I've not been able to find any information on, is your account levelling system. Now, I don't know how many levels are in that, or how long it's going to take to get to maximum level, but 1,000 Warpstone is less than a third of what you actually need to outfit your entire team with common items. I say outfit because, obviously, they're one use per person. So, already, that's fuck all. And then you will get some items on top of that. Okay, great. But it also includes pitches, grandstands, coaches, cheerleaders, balls, and dugouts. Now, how many of those are there? And what quality are they? And how many teams are there again? 7? And there's what? We decided there was about 30 to 40 parts, common parts per team. So the likelihood of you getting a part for a team you actually want is vanishingly small at the moment. And okay, we'll get uncommon items and epic items. So, I mean, that's slightly better, right? Maybe, I don't know. Because this is all the information we have on the levelling system so far. And so far, it doesn't look great. I suspect that the levelling system is a one-time only thing. So, how do you get more stuff? Well, apparently once we hit Season 1 in 3 months, the Blood Pass will also bring its fair share of free rewards, including Warpstone. As a reminder, you'll also be able to get the new team faction of the season for free when reaching the last tier of the Blood Pass. The Blood Pass is paid content, those things aren't free. You're paying for them. Not to mention that once Season 2 hits, I guess they'll just put the Season 1 faction up for sale. Just to buy. Now, if you're only getting 1,000 Warpstone for levelling your account, which I assume is probably going to take longer than a season, then how much Warpstone are you going to get for a Blood Pass? Because if they just give, 10,000 Warpstone for levelling would seem basically roughly about what you should get. A bit on the low side. I would say 10,000 Warpstone and triple these. And to be honest, just give us all the common items. Just for free. Let them be multiple. Let our characters look slightly different. What is the point? Just give them for free. Like, stop being stupid about it. Make them multi-use as well. So you're not just locked down to one item for one player. Which is bonkers. Oh, genuinely. We can't stress this enough. We want players to be able to unlock a lot of content for free. Well, not by the fucking sounds of it. Yes, there is a possibility to pay for content, and we have premium items, including a few legendary ones that are more expensive, but they are cosmetic only. They do not give any advantage. They're meant to stand out on the pitch, equipped on your key players. Fine. It doesn't make the monetization of your game any less shit. And you're not going, we'll consider it, we'll think about it. It's basically a case of, well, we think it's fine, and there's a whole bunch of stuff coming in the future, maybe, if you're lucky. which we're not going to entirely explain here, probably because we haven't worked it out yet. I mean, because this is not enough. 1,000 warp zone is fuck all. For leveling, for reaching the maximum level, 1,000 warp stone. 8 common items. Which is, how many items did we say? 30 to 40. So that's not even enough to outfit one person. It's not even enough to get all the cosmetic options for one player type on one team. And then you've got all of the player types in all of the teams. Also pitches, grandstands, coaches, cheerleaders, balls, and dugouts. Among others. Just fucking unbelievable, isn't it? We've also seen some of the leaks regarding future teams in the game, and the suggestion that these are already finished. As we're sure you understand, the development of the game is complex. The factions we plan for the release, Blood Bowl 3, are still under development, each at a varying degree of completion. In order to meet our season release date, we have a dedicated team working on the future factions with a high focus on the next one coming with Season 1. At the current stage, one team is more advanced stage of development and with a lot more testing and validation to make. We will share more about each team when they're finished and ready to be revealed. Right, so there are about 7 more teams currently located in the files that people have dug out. I'm going to be honest, they seem pretty fucking complete, but they may not have all of the animations and stuff ready. I mean, the models seem pretty ready to go, but all right, if we take them at their words that they're not ready to go, it was still a massive fuck up to leave them in the files. I mean, Jesus Christ. This release has been an absolute mess. And it really does speak for the management at Cyanide that this game was pushed out when it did, because it was not ready. It is at best early access. At worst, it's a polished alpha. Because it doesn't have all of the functionality yet. You can't pause, you can't replay, you can't even reconnect to resume a game if you get disconnected. And people got disconnected a lot. Okay. As you may or may not be aware, an error on Steam caused all players to incorrectly receive the brutal edition of the game, regardless of the version they purchased. An error on Steam? Really? I can't remember this happening before. Goodness me. Steam definitely fumbled the ball on that one. That's a turnover. This error is really unfortunate, but we don't want to punish players for the mistake. With that in mind, we will not remove the 1,000 Warpstone players who hadn't purchased the Brutal Edition received. I mean, it's fuck all for a start. However, we will remove the cosmetic bonuses that are only available to players of the Brutal Edition. Right. Now, it's a nice gesture to let everyone keep the 1,000 Warpstone, but if I'm going to be particularly pernickety, it's also basically the only option they had, because trying to claw that back would have been a logistical fucking nightmare. They might be thinking, well, we just take the 1,000 Warpstone back, maybe. What if people have already spent it on cosmetics? And you go, well, just take the cosmetics back. Right, but that's a whole extra thing, right? You need to remove the cosmetic from the player, because they're only one equip per player, aren't they? So you need to take that off, you need to put something back in its place. And then you get to the point of, what if someone bought more Warpstone? So what if they got the 1,000 Warpstone and they bought, say, I don't know, 200 more Warpstone? And what if they spent all of that Warpstone? How do you then work out which cosmetics were bought with the free Warpstone and what was paid with the paid Warpstone? And what if there's a bleed over? What if there's a cosmetic? What if they had, say, 11 cosmetics? Now, 10 would have been, I don't know, 999. But the 10th one, that used that one extra Warpstone from that 1,000 and then a bunch of other Warpstone that they had. Oh no, what do we do now? You need to decide which of those cosmetics to remove. That's impossible. You can't make that decision. I mean, even if you assigned it at random, and frankly, that would cause pandemonium. They're already getting a kicking. Trying to claw it back would have been insane. I mean, I'm amazed they didn't try it, to be honest. So, it's a nice gesture, but it's also literally the only option they had. Which kind of, nullifies that gesture somewhat. We'd also like to further reward players who brought the Brutal Edition to apologise for their sake. Well, yes. Considering they paid more for something that people paid less got, yeah. Now, they will remove the cosmetic bonuses that are only available, but those things are things like cheerleaders and balls and pitches, which are going to be a lot easier because they don't have any paid ones yet. So you couldn't have bought any more pitches. So they can just, they can claw those back. But the Warpstone, no. So they're going to give everyone who brought the Brutal Edition 1,000 Warpstone, an additional 250 Warpstone for early unlock players for their troubles with the servers. This way, Brutal Edition players will still have 1,000 Warpstone bonus. With this bonus in yesterday's conversation, this will make a total bonus of 1,500 Warpstone for early unlock players, which we hope seems fair. Sure. We understand this does not solve everything, but we hope that we'll at least ease this feeling and show our gratitude. We will always follow this policy with our community. Yes. I mean, you clawed back what you could, and then had to give out extra for the people that got screwed over by your... And I'm not going to blame this on Steam. I know Steam can be particularly difficult to work with, but this is definitely a cyanide fuck up. But once again, they're deflecting the blame. We'd also like to take this opportunity to apologise for the server issues leading up to and during launch. This has been our main concern since the start of early unlock. Since yesterday's patch, our servers are more stable. You can see some patch notes there. We had no general crashes of them. It's not perfect yet, but we will continue to work on it until it is our main priority. Again, they're not native. Probably the person who wrote this probably isn't a native English speaker, so the wording's a bit weird, but basically they're saying it's their primary priority, which, yes, it should be. I think the game was a bit more popular than they thought. Lots of games have had early server issues. I don't think that's necessarily something to get massively upset about. Obviously, if you've taken days off to play and you're struggling with server issues, that's going to be very disappointing, and I totally understand that. But they are seemingly jumping on that. Great. And we'd finally like to speak to the concern that the issues with Blood Bowl arose from the development team's split attention with the release of Chef Life on the same game, which is a chef simulation game I didn't know it existed until this community post. Just to clarify, Chef Life and Blood Bowl 3 have always had two completely separate teams. Yep, I'd fucking hope so. The fact that these two games were released on the same day may have caused confusion, but that's just a coincidence of the calendar. Still, if it's like the same studio... Really? I mean, surely there'll be some bleed over, even if it's just like management. But I imagine like they have different community teams, different development teams, that kind of thing. It's just weird they decided to release it on the same day. Because surely that's like all hands on deck kind of thing. So weird that they wouldn't have given themselves some potential backup, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. I'll take them at their words, which is basically like, no, it wasn't Chef Life. We did this fuck up entirely by ourselves. So I guess that good job on owning up to that. Thanks for reading, and that's it for today. We will continue to communicate in the future as often as it's needed. You will have a lot of updates, might it be via news, videos, or live stream during the pre-season to address everything and keep you aware of all of our progress. Thank you for your time and for being so passionate about Blood Bowl. No matter the disappointment, we can always see the passion behind it, and that is something that keeps us going and motivates us to turn things around, the Blood Bowl team. It's nice you want to turn things around, but so far, you've basically admitted fuck all. The monetization is just... and we think it's all right. The release of the leaks is kind of like, yeah, well, they were there. The Brutal Edition stuff is just fucking stupid. And the servers are like, well, I kind of understand that. Lots of games have server issues, so that's fine. But it's just, I find it bizarre they've released the game as it is. Because, yeah, sure, your monetization options, you may feel they're fair, but they're not. And you may think they will become fair, but they're not at the moment. And if we have to wait 3 months before anything happens, that's bonkers. They call this the pre-season. Get ready to compete. I'm sorry, guys, but the game's going to be dead in 3 months. maybe Season 1 will bring some people back. But, you know, the release of a game is your big chance. And the fact you released it with nothing is genuinely insane. I can only imagine that you had to get this out, but I don't know why you didn't just hold it back. I guess you just had to. I guess this was just thrown out as it was, but it's not great. So if you're still thinking about buying Blood Bowl 3, don't bother. And if you're still looking at it going, well, I just kind of want to give it a try, give it 3 months. Wait until Season 1 is out. At that point, I think you can make a much better judgment call on whether the game is worth your money or not. Because at the moment, it's not. It's just not. I mean, even without all of these issues, there are a raft of bugs in the game currently. Freezes, lockups, crashes, not to mention things that just don't work. For example, there's a few teams where if an opposing team member dies, you potentially get like a linesman or something. Now that will happen, right? If an enemy player dies, they'll pop up in your dugout with a name and everything. But as soon as you end that game, they cease to exist. And that's just one bug. Just give it 3 months, right? By Season 1, they may have found their feet. Or the game will be bleeding out on the floor. I genuinely don't know. But currently, just don't bother with it. It's just not worth the effort, unfortunately. Thanks for watching.